Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe. Our sports ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Both the Husker men and women had travel days today. The women will face nationally ranked Iowa with a noon tip tomorrow. Pregame starts here on the network at 11:45. The Husker men are off to Maryland. Game time set for 3:30. Pregame coverage at 2:30. We'll hear from Coach Hoiberg later this hour. The Husker baseball squad held their first practice for the 2023 season today out at Dean Hartog Field. The Big Red took advantage of the sunny skies and 40-degree temperatures to gear up for the season. D1 baseball came out today with their conference preview, and they listed the Huskers 5th in the Big Ten. We'll hear from Husker outfielder Garrett Anglim in the second hour of the program. Husker women's tennis underway at the Sid Dillon Center against Western Michigan. We'll have some final results later on in the show. Again, our ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to help support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Sports Highlight coming up next.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Meyer, another three. This one's not good. The rebound and a great block out by Griesel. Vandermel's got the ball. 4-0 run to start the second half. Wilcher drives the basketball, splits a double. Oh! What a play! Wilcher, what a fantabulous play! There's our play of the game.
Wow, what a finish by C.J. Wilcher. And the first time tonight, the crowd is on their feet. A little 6-0 run to start the second half.
Kaiser, left low block, guarded by Stewart. Knock away and a steal for Kimball Moriarty. Here come the Huskers with 1:06 to go in the second quarter.
There it is.
Trailing by 11. Three ball, Lonnie Stewart all alone. You betcha! Off the steal and assist from Kimball Moriarty. Timeout, Kim Barzarico.
And here come the Husker crowd.
To Jazz Shelley.
Throw it back.
Jazz has a double team. Throws it deep left side. Kellen Hake for three. You betcha!
Griesel bring it across the timeline. How about a couple of quick baskets here? Down 10, deep left corner, Jamarcus Lawrence, three. Got it! Nothing but net. Swishola, a CBA three for Jamarcus Lawrence.
Hot top, Hybe has it. Huskers looking for a road win over a top 5 team. Hybe driving and scoring down the left lane line. That was classic Sam Hybe.
Yeah, good pace by Sammy. Nebraska answers.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, good evening. Welcome to our Friday night show of Sports Highlight here on the Huskers Radio Network. So glad you're with us here today. It was a nice day outside today, and a lot of Husker teams.
Nice. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Come on, it was a January day. It was sunny and 40.
No, I thought it was still too chilly. I need about 10 more degrees before I can consider it
You're
nice.
going to have to wait about 4 more weeks for that to happen. So, but yeah, nice enough for baseball to get outside and have practice out there today. They were running around, taking infield. They even scrimmaged for 6 innings.
A lot of bodies out there, right? Pretty, or has it been trimmed down a little bit?
No, it's a big roster still.
Okay.
I mean, I think they're pretty well set on their roster, but a lot of excitement. The guys got up there way early. They were anxious. In fact, they did a media session at about 1:45, and then they didn't start practice till 2:30, and everybody's kind of standing around. They're just playing games and doing what baseball guys do, and I'm finally going, I don't think you're going to practice. I'm getting out of here. It was chilly enough for me, so I left. But we're going to hear from Garrett Anglim, who had a really good season last year for the Huskers. We'll hear from him in hour number 2. Not far off. Softball opens in 2 weeks.
It's kind of a crazy roster in that there's a lot of returners back, but then there's also going to be a lot of new faces.
It's almost 50-50, which is a pretty big turnover in
Which
baseball.
is not the case with softball, where it's probably,
Mostly.
80% of the roster is back? I've heard they got some pretty good newcomers that, to a roster that pretty much got everybody back. Look to fill the void of Olivia Farrell in the circle, but for the most part, I mean, they got everybody back.
They do.
So it's going to be fun to watch them.
They will be down in Houston their opening weekend and play a couple of games on that first Friday for softball on the 10th of February. Baseball opens up then on the 17th. So we'll talk some ball bat sports later on. Husker football, the stadium's lit up again today. They've got some people in town. There have been a lot of reports that a lot of the staff is in Phoenix visiting a 2024 possible recruit. So I'm not sure who's minding the store here, but somebody's obviously here because the music's pumping in the concourse again tonight.
It's not as loud tonight, but
it was rocking last night.
It's still pumping out there. So, last week, this is the last weekend that they can go on the road. And last week when they went on the road, they were on the road because I saw Evan Cooper out there on the concourse. I walked up to my office to grab something during one of the commercial breaks, and him and Terrence Knighton had just posted a selfie on the plane that morning, and he was here on the concourse that night. And so I was like, I just saw you on social media on a flight. And so who knows, maybe some of them are already back in town. I don't know what the schedule was to visit on the road, but some of them might be flying back to be here this weekend.
So you saw pot roast.
I didn't see Pot Roast in person. I saw Evan Cooper.
Folks, that's Terrence Knighton's nickname.
Yes.
Pot roast. Because
he told the story, too, when I sat down with him for the signing day interview. Someone asked about it, and he said that it was something about to do on a flight when he was in the NFL. Everybody was requesting like a certain dish, and he requested pot roast or something like that.
And that got his nickname.
And so then they started calling him that.
So in Husker lore, you had folks who remember Corey Ross, the really great running back in the early 2000s, went on and played for the Baltimore Ravens. His nickname was Pork Chop. So we had a pork chop, and now we got a pot roast involved with Husker football. How about that?
That's awesome.
Not that I'm hungry tonight, but just a couple fun
Neither
days.
one of those are my forte, so you could talk about it all you want.
We're going to hear from Terrence Knighton on Monday. He and Coach Foley are going to do a media conference on Monday, so we're going to clip that up and play some of that back for you on Monday night. So I think it's been really good to introduce those coaches and let them get their stories out. Obviously, there's a lot of attention for this new staff. People want to hear from them, learn more about them, and so we'll clip up some of that for you on Monday night's program.
They're fun, too. It's a fun group.
Very fun group.
I sat down. Corey Campbell was in studio. We'll be dropping a podcast here pretty soon with him. But, it's just, again, on trend with you hear the messaging and it's all the same messaging, right? And it's unsolicited. It's not like I'm, asking them about specific things. It is a lot of the same words and verbiage are used with every guy on the staff that you sit down with. And that's, I think, again, it bodes well to the mission and the trajectory of this program that, you got the head coach, but then everybody's on the same page. They're on the same mission. They're literally all saying the same things because they all believe in it so wholeheartedly. I mean, this is a team that's bought in the vision of their leader, and so it helps to kind of move things along in the right direction that they are wanting it to go.
This, as you mentioned, this weekend will end another part of the football calendar. Last visit weekend is this weekend for official visits. Then they can't contact people again starting Monday. The signing day is Wednesday. And then I think the coaches are, and I know they're really anxious for this too, Jessica, they're anxious to stay in the building and get to know their team. Because they've been in and out so much. I'm sure that I think they've all shared cell phone numbers and they've kept in touch with the current guys, but they haven't really just been there for them to pop in at any time of the day. That's going to start next week. Yeah,
and I know it was important for them from the start to recruit this current group because there are some really good players that were already here that you want to stick around, especially, those guys on the O-line, D-line, they were already pretty thin, so you don't want to lose a bunch of guys to the portal. So I know that they recruited, they knew that was going to be a priority, is to keep a lot of those guys here. But it's just kind of hard when you're in and out and you're traveling and all of that. And I think that they've done a good job of trying to balance both, but it's got to be a lot to manage all of that. So, and they have been relentless on that recruiting road and, being out and about and having guys on campus. And so, I think they're probably, but the thing is even though they might not be on the road, they're not stopping. This is a group that's going to just stay just dialed in and working their tails off on putting together recruiting classes, putting the final touches on 2023, which will be the signing day will come February 1st, and have a few guys added there, but they are all in on 2024, and then they'll as soon as they can start getting 2023. I'm sure they'll have camps. How many times have we heard camps mentioned, how important that is? Summer, I can't wait to see what summer's going to be like because they're going to have a lot of camps here because that was one thing that Coach Rule talked about, the importance of having those big time camps here. So it's just because they're not on the road, it doesn't mean like they're going to slow down at all.
Yeah, but they just can't go out and visit schools and do all that type of stuff. So, again, it's just a different phase. I know a couple of the coaches poked their heads in this past week into the weight room and watched some of the conditioning that's going on with the guys, and I've seen a lot of the players walking around with water jugs, so I'm sure they're getting the message, you got to stay hydrated, you got to hydrate, because they're all walking around with these just clear plastic water bottles.
Andrew used to do that, right?
He used to. He's off that bandwagon now.
Oh. But it was like towards the beginning, right? He just had a big old
Are you
water
thinking
jug.
they stole it from Andrew?
No, I'm not saying that. He thinks so.
He would.
Yes. Just how he thinks he's like, the best basketball player, the best football player, best soccer player to ever, best golfer to ever, grace the earth. I'm sure he thinks that they stole the concept of drinking water from him too.
Yeah, he probably did. Well, he showed off. He showed off back in the fall his 4.4 speed in the studio one night, so we got a kick out of that. I mentioned women's basketball off to Iowa. Man, Iowa got a huge winner this week. Win in Ohio State. They have the premier player in the country in Caitlin Clark. This will be a big challenge for Amy Williams' team, but she said last night on her show, I heard her say, this kind of bye week came at a good time. They didn't have basketball at all in the midweek to kind of catch their breath and kind of reset a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they just did not look like themselves the last time out. I mean, it was almost like the Bad News Bears, they turned the ball over more than they normally do. They shot it way worse than they normally do. I mean, at one point they had more turnovers than they did field goals in the first half, and so it just was not a pretty outing. I know they had a couple of people that were banged up a little bit, Alexis Markowski, and I think they needed a reset. And so hopefully, they got that this week, and this is a fun challenge. It's always a fun matchup, obviously a rivalry, but that arena is going to be packed. And so hopefully they'll rise to the challenge and they'll be ready to go. But it's a big opportunity. And, Iowa is a little streaky. I will say that. They can look like a team that could go advance to the Final Four like they did when they played Ohio State, but then they also look beatable at times. I think that's a team that's, depending on which team shows up, could be a team that Nebraska could knock off. And that kind of goes for Nebraska, too. Which team's going to show up there in Iowa?
Right.
So that's but it should be a fun matchup. And it's on Fox.
Big Fox.
Big Fox.
Yeah.
So that was one of the big announcements going into the season, was that there were some Big Ten women's games that were going to be put on Big Fox this year for the first time ever, and this is one of those games. And so it's a huge opportunity for this team to be on national television.
Fantastic. Now, Amy Williams also said last night they're at the official midway point of the conference season. Women play 18 conference games, the men play 20. The women have played 9, so they have 9 to go. 2 of them are against Iowa, 2 of them are against Northwestern, and 2 of them are against Illinois. So 6 of their last 9 are against those 3 teams. They're going to see a bunch of Illinois, Iowa, and Northwestern here in the last month.
And Illinois is ranked now.
Got beat last night by Purdue, so
they might fall out.
They might fall out.
But Illinois, if they
better.
If they hang around there in the top 25, it's not going to hurt your RPI
Correct.
or your net ranking. But those are teams you need to beat.
Correct.
You have to beat Northwestern, and you at least have to split with Illinois.
Right.
You cannot get swept by any of these teams, I don't think, because they're right there. The Big Ten is good enough this year. They got enough good teams, and I don't think, it's not like we're on the scary part of, they're on the bubble, but if they lose to teams they're not supposed to lose to, then we can move into that conversation. So they have to take care of business against the teams that they should be taking care of business against.
So the second half of the conference season for the Huskers begins tomorrow, 11:45 on some of these stations for the noon tip against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Next home game for the Huskers will be next Thursday night as Michigan State will visit. That's another team Nebraska has not played yet in conference play. First Interstate Bank, built for you. Learn more at www.firstinterstatebank.com. Member FDIC. All right, coming up here in a few minutes, Fred Hoiberg had a press conference before they left today. They're not coming back. They're playing tomorrow. They're playing tomorrow in Maryland. Then they're going to fly to Champaign after the game because they play the Illini Tuesday night. They're going to be in Champaign 3 nights. Saves a flight. Also, the men generally like to travel. Coach Hoiberg likes to leave midday. So if they came back, they probably wouldn't even have gone to class Monday. They would have left Monday midday. So they're just going to stay in Champaign. So it's a long little road trip for the men.
What's there to do in Champaign?
Not much. Not much.
Actually, because when we played there to open the season last year, I liked their little downtown area.
It's okay.
I mean,
yeah, it's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's better than some places that you travel to.
It's not one of my favorites in the league, but hey, they're there to practice and kind of bond a little bit. maybe take
I
their
meant
mind
for the
off.
staff, the support staff.
Where
are they going to go?
You're worried about Kent and Jake. What are they going to do for 3 days?
Yes, and Seamus. I mean, where are they going to go? What are they going to do?
Let's text Kent and say, what's your plan for your 3 days in Champaign? What do you have on your plan? See if he writes us back. He'll probably get a kick out of that. We'll hear from Coach Hoiberg here in a couple of minutes. Mentioned baseball practice open today. I had a chance to talk to Garrett Anglim, who had a breakout freshman season last year for the Big Red. What's he got coming up in his sophomore campaign? We'll talk to him in hour number 2. Husker wrestling will be back on the mat at the Devaney Center on Sunday to take on Wisconsin. And boy, that's a pretty good rivalry in a lot of sports, and certainly wrestling's one of those, that there's a nice little rivalry between the Huskers and the Badgers. Brock Hardy has had a tremendous season, the 141-pounder, and he's got a fascinating story. I can't wait to hear that coming up in hour number 2.
It is. It's a fun story. It's unique. That's what's cool about Sports Nightly, and I think we've been able to talk to some people and provide some insight into some athletes that you might not hear otherwise, and this is a fascinating story. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Fantastic.
So all that coming up here on your Friday night show. If you want to be a part of it, always welcome to do that with a call or a text at 402-413-2400. That is our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. All right, back with more Sports Nightly coming up.
Your story, it lives in River City, where you can enjoy a metropolitan vibe and a small town feel, where we set the standard for service and looking out for one another, where there's so much more than steak in our thriving food scene. Your story is the story of Omaha, told by those who live it and love it. Whether that's helping you keep up with the Cornhuskers or creating the content you crave. And here in the Omaha World Herald is where it comes to life. Omaha World Herald, where your story lives.
While some seed companies put a greater stake in stock prices and anonymous shareholders, Rob Seco knows that what's important to you hits closer to home. That's why you'll find we're focused on your needs. With a simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, a relationship that makes it easy to connect with anyone in the company, and the technology, traits, and genetics you need from any source. Put your stock in the company that puts you first. Rob Seco.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. UNL has been awarded over $14 million by the U.S. Department of Commerce to expand robotics research and teaching spaces, part of a $25 million award given to the state of Nebraska to advance robotics research. The funding will allow the university to educate and train the next generation of Nebraska workers, entrepreneurs, and innovators for careers of the future.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're a fan, you wear your team's jersey on your back and your heart on your sleeve. After a win, your world glistens. Lose, and the hurt permeates your soul. You'll always have a place with us in the Cox Fan Zone, where everyone can play and connect with other fans in a big group hug. See, in the Fan Zone, you're not some crazy fan. You're home.
Hey, Husker fans, this is Greg Sharpe, voice of the Huskers. Say Fan Zone into your Contour voice remote to play. Not at home? Visit cox.com/fanzone. Go Huskers.
Lane line goes up against Terry. Terry blocks the shot, but Markowski rips it out of the air and scores. Nebraska has the lead. Markowski's all over the floor.
Hey, Husker fans, join us tomorrow for a Nebraska basketball doubleheader. The women's team takes on the Hawkeyes with coverage beginning at 11:45 a.m., while the men's team matches up with the Terrapins, coverage beginning at 2:30 p.m. on the HRN. Tune in to your local affiliates or at huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Find your next truck at Woodhouse Buick GMC. No matter where you're heading or what tasks need tackling, there's a premium and capable GMC truck that's perfect for you. Make a statement on the job site. out on the town, or wherever life leads you in the powerful and distinctive Sierra 1500, or elevate your driving experience in the adventurous and innovative Canyon. Explore our inventory online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com or visit our indoor showroom today. Woodhouse Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
Nebraska women's basketball offers one of the best values in all of Husker sports with single game reserve tickets at Pinnacle Bank Arena for just $15. Adult general admission seating is just $10, while youth and senior general admission tickets are $5. Children 6 and under are just $1. Plans now to bring your whole family to Husker women's basketball for Big Ten home games in January and February. Get your tickets and the full schedule at Huskers.com.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Every day, Central Valley Ag works with our farmers to feed a hungry planet. CVA's Elite Acre gives growers assurance of profits and margins in volatile global markets. Manage your risk. Lock in your ROI through CVA's Elite Acre program. Learn more and register to win 500 gallons of CVA's Ruby Diesel when you go online to cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here Friday night here on the Huskers Radio Network. So glad you're with us here tonight, our final show of the week. Big weekend of basketball. Both Huskers men and women play tomorrow. Then kind of an off day on Sunday for the network, and it'll go dark around here. Nobody has to work. Andrew can go sip on his pina coladas, and Cole can do whatever he wants.
He is kind of, seems like a pina colada guy.
Yes, he does. Very much so. Fred Hoiberg is a big wine guy. Fred likes wine.
Okay.
He had a press conference today and talked about, with all these injuries, it does kind of change practice a little bit and having a prep. So he talks about what tweaks they've had to make with their preparation for these games with the loss of Juwan and Emmanuel.
Yeah, I mean, watched a lot of film. We had a couple really productive meetings, I thought, the last few days. And, just where we are right now with our bodies, we're not doing a ton of live work. We just can't afford it. Jamarcus sprained his ankle the day before the Penn State game and was questionable all the way up until the tip. And, with where we are with our bodies, it's a lot of mental reps. It's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of film. We are getting some, especially against with this prep against Maryland, because of their defenses that we haven't seen in a long time. So, we'll get some live, but there's a lot of mental preparation that goes along with that. Now you have to carry, the physicality that you're not getting in practice. You got to find a way to flip that switch in the game when the lights turn on. And, if we lose a guy in practice, that's not going to be good for where we are just with our body count right now. And just, again, in this league, it's so important to get off to good starts. Penn State, we get outscored 10-0 out of the chute. We lose the game by 11, and we missed a ton of free throws in that game. You find a way to get off to a good start. Maybe we're in it and have a chance, at least at the end of the game. And that's what it's all about, hopefully getting off to a good start and sustaining that for the full 40 minutes.
I hadn't heard that Jamarcus had tweaked an ankle before the Penn State. That's the first time I'd heard of that.
They're just dropping like flies.
And how do you get better if you can't really work on stuff in practice? I mean, that's really, really tough.
Well, and you'd feel better about it if it was the guys that were the older guys that, like the Sams and the Derricks and Emmanuel and Juwan. But the fact that it's the freshmen and the young guys like Blaze and Jamarcus, that you need to have those reps because they're in these roles that they just moved into. And, every time they get out on the court, they learn, they get better. And so the older guys you can sustain, you can be okay with not practicing a few days. But the younger guys, you need to have them out on the court.
You called the Queens game. So
Yes.
Think about how long ago that was. That's when Blaze got hurt. And I think he's played like 3 minutes since that game. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I know high ankles are tough. They are.
And it just, again, it's like what we saw Travis Vokalek all season long. You know, I mean, he feels good, feels like he's ready to go, and then you get out there and you just tweak it. It just takes so long, and it just is something that can just, any little thing can re-aggravate it, and it just, you cannot, I don't know, you can't get over very easily, especially when you're just trying to go and go in the middle of a season. It just takes so much time, and so, boy, he would help. He definitely would help.
And in basketball, your ankles, because you're cutting and stopping so much more than you really are in football, you do a lot more.
You step on people's feet all the time.
A lot more than you do in the football sport. All right, Jamarcus tweaked that ankle at Penn State, but he played, and he played really well the other night against Northwestern, made 4 threes. Here's Coach Hoiberg talking about the progress of his freshman.
Yeah, the thing I loved about Jamarcus the other night is just he had no fear in that role, excuse me, as a starter. And, you know, coming off a game where he was very disappointed in himself, especially with the free throws at Penn State, to be able to put that one behind him and bounce back with a great effort and knocking down shots was a great sign. And he's a really tough kid. I think physically, mentally, you see that for a guy that's in his first year in college to go out there and be able to put a disappointing one behind you and be one of the better players on the floor for us is a great sign for Jamarcus in his future. And, you know, I'm really excited about him. He does so many things. He can play with the ball in his hands. He can play off ball. He's shown that, you know, the reason we really loved Jamarcus, you know, a lot of things about him, but his ability to make shots was at the top of that list. So, you know, it's good to see him take the lid off, hit 4 threes in that game. That's not easy to do as a freshman, especially when we were struggling, you know, some of our main guys.
This next month could be invaluable for both him and Denham. Don't you think that the minutes they're going to gain could really help this team 12 months from now?
I've been amazed that just, you know, you saw flashes from both of them, but just how much they've grown since we've seen more of them. I mean, Denham was a guy that would not for a second look for his shot and look to shoot even when people were not guarding him, because that's going to be the scout, right? That, hey, back off of him. So he needs to be able to knock down a wide open 3 when people are going to not guard him and try to back off to try to help off on Derek or whatnot. But he's looked confident shooting some threes when he's had the opportunity. And so, you know, I think the more he gets out there, the more he's going to grow. And he's just not a guy that is. Juwan Gary is one that, and we've made the comparisons between Juwan and Denham. Denham's just the younger version, but Juwan looks for his shot and is aggressive at taking his shot and getting his shot. And I don't think Denham is that way yet. He's more of a guy that likes to be the rebounder and the defender. And there's not a lot of guys, and that's a special kind of guy to have on your team that is willing to do that and not fill up the stat sheet. But you have to be able to produce some on the offensive end when those opportunities arise. And I think he's been more apt to look for those opportunities here as we've gone along, since he's had more opportunities, which this team has to have. And yeah, I mean, Jamarcus, boy, he's every time it seems like he makes leaps and bounds. And he didn't have a very good night the other night at
Penn State,
but then he bounced back in a huge, to me, that is just massive to see a freshman bounce back the way he did, you know, after having a tough night shooting and at the free throw line, and for him to get back to it. I think every night out, we're going to see tremendous growth from those guys.
Another guy who's getting an opportunity because of the lack of bodies is Sam Hoiberg, the head coach's son. Here's Coach Hoiberg talking about his son, Sam.
I don't think he surprised me. I'm proud of him for the way he went out there. Anytime you get your first significant minutes, there's generally a lot of nerves. I remember my first minutes in the playoff series against the Bulls. I threw the ball right to Scottie Pippen. And, you know, it's just one of those things where you have to go out there. And, you know, so the thing about Sam, he works. And, you know, he's always in here getting extra shots. He's confident. He's a confident kid. They get that from their mother. And, you know, he just went out there and played hard and did a lot of really good things for us, including rebounding. He led us in rebounding. And he, you know, a couple of those shots, they went in and out. And I just thought he made a really good impact. And you look at his plus-minus, I think he was a plus 11 on the game, and Denham was the only other guy that was a plus. He was a +1. So, yeah, he made a positive impact on the game, and that's what it's all about as a reserve player when you get your name called, is to go out and make a positive impact on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could tell just how proud he is of the fact that, he comes in and he's doing what he needs to do. I mean, he does. Sam is always around the facility, always working, always grinding. And so it's awesome that he's getting that opportunity and making the most of it.
He was where he needed to be every time the other night, whether there was a backside rebound that he could pick up or chase down a loose ball, he could see the angle. He just found it. I mean, he led the team in rebounding, for goodness sakes, the other night against Northwestern. So that was really cool to see him get out there and get that opportunity. All right, Maryland's the chore tomorrow. They're playing well. They took apart Wisconsin earlier in the week and now get the Huskers to come in. New coach in Maryland this year after Mark Turgeon's long tenure ended after last season. Here's Fred Hoiberg kind of giving us the 401 on Maryland.
In a press, they run different types of coverages out of it. They'll trap, they'll double team, they'll play a little bit soft, and they'll fall back into zone. Sometimes they'll fall back into man. So, for us, we got to get into our stuff, and we can't let it affect our pace. And that's what they do such a good job of, is getting you out of your flow and getting you out of your rhythm. And whatever it is, man or zone, we have to have great movement, both ball movement and body movement, to try to keep them off balance as they get back into their set. And it is unique. It's very unique, and it is something that has really slowed a lot of teams down. And they do a great job with it. Kevin's doing a phenomenal job. They're playing I think their best basketball of the season right now. That game at Purdue certainly could have gone either way. And then 2 great wins at home over Michigan and Wisconsin, beating them almost by 20, which is obviously very hard to do. So it's a team that's hitting on all cylinders right now. We're going to have to go down there, take care of the basketball much better than we have lately. They've got great length. We have to finish off possessions with a rebound. Those are 2 areas we've really struggled. And when we've lost, we've gotten pounded on the boards, and that's been a pretty common theme for us. So it's going to be important to go down there, play with good physicality, and hopefully finish off possessions.
3:30 tip tomorrow, 2:30 pregame coverage here on the Huskers Radio Network. Huskers and the Maryland Terrapins at College Park, Maryland. Folks, buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. All right, phone lines, text lines back open for you. Your thoughts about Husker basketball, Husker football, whatever you'd like to talk about. 402-413-2400. We're back with more coming up.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns for teachers.
Lane line goes up against Terry. Terry blocks his shot, but Markowski rips it out of the air and scores. Nebraska has the lead. Markowski's all over the floor.
Hey Husker fans, join us tomorrow for a Nebraska basketball doubleheader. The women's team takes on the Hawkeyes with coverage beginning at 11:45 a.m., while the men's team matches up with the Terrapins, coverage beginning at 2:30 p.m. on the HRN. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your story. It lives in River City, where you can enjoy a metropolitan vibe and a small town feel, where we set the standard for service and looking out for one another, where there's so much more than steak in our thriving food scene. Your story is the story of Omaha, told by those who live it and love it, whether that's helping you keep up with the Cornhuskers or creating the content you crave. And here in the Omaha World Herald is where it comes to life. Omaha World Herald, where your story lives.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you Friday night here on Sports Nightly. 402-413-2400. You reached out to Kent to see what he has planned for his 3-day stay in Champaign, and he is going to do what?
He said Christian Science Reading Room. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. You laughed. What is it?
There's a magazine, Christian Science Monitor, so I guess he's saying he's going to go read or something. So.
Oh.
That's exciting life of Kent Pavelka right there. So
he's probably doing tons of.
You probably should have asked that of Jake. We would have got.
You know what? I'm going to copy and paste it.
We would have got a better response from Jake, I think, than we got from Kent.
Well, you told me to ask Kent.
I know.
That was your bad.
Because Kent, you just never know what's going to come back from Kent. So they would be. See, I think they'd be better off just staying in Maryland, because you can take the little subway train down to D.C. and go tour all the monuments and museums and. That'd have been fun.
But if it's all about hoops, apparently you're saying that the best place to be is Champaign.
Yeah. Well, they probably went where they were given permission to practice in the gym and stuff, and so Brad Underwood's playing nice, I guess, and said, "Yeah, you can come use our facilities and practice."
Did their paths cross in the Big 12? Underwood was only at Oklahoma State for a year or two, right?
Brad was an assistant coach at K-State.
Okay.
And Fred was the head coach at Iowa State. So yeah, they knew each other there. So I'll be anxious to see if Jake replies back to us for that.
I didn't actually text him.
I am really excited for Sunday's football games. I think both of those games are going to be awesome. Awesome games. You got your Bengals shirt on.
Yes.
There you go.
I did. I was waiting for you to bring up the.
They have talked so much smack all week, and the Chiefs are going, yeah, they're really good. Chiefs are just playing nice. They have kicked the bear, I think.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it, obviously. But did you see the mayor of Cincinnati put out basically a social media video asking that they asked Joe Burrow to take a paternity test to see if he was Patrick Mahomes' daddy.
Oh, my gosh. See, that's the kind of stuff they've been doing all week. And the Chiefs are going, okay, all right, wise guys. Remember, we're the #1 seed. So I didn't like the Chiefs' chances early in the week. I do now because I think the Bengals are a little too full of themselves.
I like it. Confidence. They're confident. You're a Chiefs fan, though, right?
I am.
Yeah.
And I thought all week I thought they were going to lose until the last couple of days when I heard the report on Patrick practicing is good.
Just because he's practicing.
And how much smack the Bengals are talking. Excuse me, you haven't won the Super Bowl. You made it last year. You lost. So until you win a ring, Patrick's got a ring, don't be talking so much smack.
Hey, it's all right. You can calm down a little bit.
I'm not mad.
Greg's getting mad over here.
Mad. And I think the NFC game's going to be awesome, too. I really think both games are going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd love to see Brock Purdy win. I think it'd be great.
I think both those, the Eagles or the Niners could win. I mean, it could be a
really good day.
I think that's going to be a great matchup, too.
That's why both games are good. That's why, if some of you are confused why the PGA is up on CBS right now, they backed up their tournament a day to end tomorrow. They didn't want to go head-to-head with the NFL championship games.
They wanted to go watch it.
They do. A lot of those guys do want to go watch it. So, smart move, and that's why they're playing their third round out in San Diego tonight. CBS has golf coverage on right now at 6:45 at night, and they'll wrap up that golf tournament tomorrow. The golf tournament I want to go to is in a couple weeks. That's the one in Phoenix. I want to go to that little party.
I think I'm going.
You are? Good.
Because you guys we have a game on Friday, right? Baseball.
We do.
And my cousin, who I'm really close with, lives out there now. She's a traveling nurse. So she asked me today to come out.
You should go.
Be free stay. And I have a friend the Denny is playing in it.
Yep.
So it'll be fun. I think I'm going to go.
A party. My brother's gone a couple of times. He said, wow, it's unlike anything he's ever gone
Nick
to.
Hanley told me that it was a fun one to go to.
He's gone to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that. It's going to be a fun weekend. Got a lot of college basketball going on. You've got golf going on tonight, and then the NFL on Sunday. If you love wrestling, I know a lot of our audience does, there's a great duel tonight on BTN 8 o'clock. #1, Penn State. #2, Iowa. That is going to be amazing. They've got a wrestling doubleheader tonight. Ohio State and Michigan are right now underway. Huskers don't wrestle again until Sunday. But if you like wrestling, and the best of the best will be Iowa, Penn State coming up at 8 o'clock.
Who you got?
I don't know. I haven't really handicapped it. It's going to be really good. And
you haven't? Why not?
I don't know the rosters that well, those two programs, but it'll be fun. So big night of wrestling on BTN. And, you have long applauded BTN for how they do a good job of covering a wide variety of sports. They work in the gymnastics, the wrestlings, softball. They work in volleyball. They work in all those sports.
I think there's a reason why the Big Ten has certain sports that are popular here that they're not popular in a lot of other places. And that is because they've given them exposure on their network. There's a reason why volleyball is so big here, and the reason why the ratings aren't as good if you go outside the Big Ten on television as in terms of overall, if you just put two Big 12 teams, volleyball teams, or maybe Bedlam Wrestling just because it's Oklahoma State wrestling, but there's just not a lot. I think it's a lot to do with the exposure that the Big Ten gives those sports specifically. Because, you can see almost all of the big-time matchups on television of wrestling. You can't do that at a lot of other conferences.
True. And a lot of conferences don't have a lot of wrestling. The SEC, I don't know if anybody.
ACC does.
ACC does. You're right. I don't know. The SEC, anybody. Missouri wrestles.
And then the Big 12 has more, like, it's kind of a hodgepodge of teams that don't, like, I mean, I think, like, what did we say? It was like North Dakota State or something like that. Or
I think Arizona State's maybe in that league, too.
And I think, like, Army or Air Force, kind of like the gymnastics as well for the, because I know the Big 10 has gymnastics, but then there's another with the Oklahoma's gymnastics conference. It's like a bunch of teams because there's not a lot of gymnastics teams either.
Well, for the longest time, to be a Big 10 member and have sports, you had to have wrestling. Neither of the California schools do. So I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to let them just not add wrestling as a program, but it's been considered a Tier 1 sport in the Big 10 Conference. And Nebraska was fine with that because they had wrestling when we entered the league, and so did Rutgers and Maryland. But I don't think the California schools, either one of them, have it. So I don't know what they're going to do with them. So
But Pac-12, how many schools have it there? I mean, Stanford and then Arizona does, right? No.
Arizona State does.
Okay.
Arizona State and Stanford might be the only two. In that
Washington, Oregon.
None of those. Cal, no. No. So it's, again, it's one of those kind of a, and that's why when you hear, there's only, I think, 60-some schools that have wrestling, Division I wrestling programs. Wow, we got way off track this segment. Hey, folks, check out the Husker Extra mobile app from the team at Lincoln Journal-Star. It is the best place for everything Husker sports. Search the App Store for Husker Extra and download that today. 402-413-2400. We're back with more next.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student-athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student-athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first for your next SUV and experience the difference. We offer a full lineup of SUVs so you can find the one that best suits you and your lifestyle. The GMC Terrain and Acadia offer the perfect blend of tech and safety on the road. Or discover the style, comfort, and cargo space of the Buick Enclave. Plus, we make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in-store or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. We are professional grade.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hello, tomorrow. We may not know exactly what you've got in store for us, for our routines and our normals. But here's the thing. Turns out, we've got this. We haven't seen everything, but we have seen ourselves be more ready for whatever you bring than we thought we would be. So when it comes to tomorrow, bring on the day. First Interstate, built for you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Visit us at firstinterstate.com.
Lane line goes up against Terry. Terry blocks the shot, but Markowski rips it out of the air and scores. Nebraska has the lead. Markowski's all over the floor.
Hey Husker fans, join us tomorrow for a Nebraska basketball doubleheader. The women's team takes on the Hawkeyes with coverage beginning at 11:45 a.m., while the men's team matches up with the Terrapins, coverage beginning at 2:30 p.m. on the HRN. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. 402-413-2400. Number for you to dial us up with a comment or question or a thought about anything in the sports world. We've got Husker Tennis wrapping up at the Dillon Tennis Center. I just got a notification that Husker swimming, which they're rounding down their season. It is about to come to an end for Pablo Morales' team. The Husker swimming and diving team got 3 titles during the first day of the Rutgers duel. Shannon Stoll earned her 10th individual title, winning the 500 freestyle. And Gina Jorgensen's had a great year as well. She's a freshman from South Dakota. She had a good year and got a win today as well. They'll wrap up that duel with Rutgers tomorrow, so they did the prelims today. Scarlet Knights have the lead after day 1, but a lot of swimming still to go tomorrow. So swimming starts in October and ends in like late February. It's kind of an interesting, no other sport has that kind of a calendar like swimming does. It's just a little oddity that they have, and we'll keep track of the tennis results that should be coming in here soon from the Dillon Tennis Center tonight. Husker basketball tomorrow, 2 games here on the network. Women play at noon against Iowa. Men play at 3:30 against Maryland. A lot of our affiliates will carry both of those broadcasts tomorrow. And I'm really anxious to see the women get back on the court. I hope the week has done them well, and I think a chance to I know they love playing against the Hawkeyes. I mean, they sense that rivalry. There's not much love between those two programs.
Well, the 3 games last year were all really, really good games. I mean, and Iowa played about as well as they could play to beat the Huskers. In the Big Ten tournament, they played really well, and then here at home, really well. So, I mean, there are some great matchups. And, I mean, I'm sorry, I know it's Iowa, and I know that's a rival, but Caitlin Clark, I mean, is so fun to watch, and she's been so good for the sport of women's basketball, along with Paige Beckers. I mean, these phenomenal athletes that have come out, and boy, they've changed a lot of the misconceptions about women's basketball, and she's phenomenal. She's unbelievable. She's so fun to watch, the things that she can do on the court, and so I always enjoy watching her play, and I think it should be a fun matchup.
You know, there's been a lot talked about. I know she got a big NIL deal from Hy-Vee. Good for her. That's fantastic. Hy-Vee's an Iowa-based company. They should wrap their arms around there. There's been some people that are not happy with some of the NIL deals that some female gymnasts have gotten. LSU, a couple of the Olympians who compete for Auburn. I don't get the beef. Why do you care with it of female athletes getting a big NIL deal?
They're mad that they're getting them?
That they think they don't deserve it, that they're not high enough quality of an athlete to get that big of a deal. Well, if a company wants to back a student athlete, they can pick which student athlete they want to back.
To me, that's completely like BS, because the athletes that go to the Olympics, women's gymnastics is one of the most popular sports in the Olympics.
Sure is.
So when those athletes go to the Olympics and then come back and compete in college,
like Suni Lee.
Yes, and the girl Jordan from UCLA.
Yep.
There's a girl from Utah, the bars girl.
Yep.
I mean, there's all of them pretty much. And then there's the one from Oregon State.
Right.
So there's almost the entire team besides Simone Biles went to college. So, of course, they're going to be hugely popular and have a huge social media following. That's what you also have to keep in mind, that it's not just about what they do as an athlete. It's also the platform that they have to reach amount of people. And that LSU gymnast has one of the biggest followings of any women's athlete anywhere. And LSU is really good at gymnastics, too. So don't discredit that. That makes me mad. That makes me really mad.
I don't get it. And I think there's a couple basketball players at Fresno State, maybe.
No, they're now at Miami. Yep.
They transferred.
The Cavendish twins. And they are really good basketball players. They are at Miami right now, and they have a huge following. So it's a bit of both. Like, you don't just have a following and then not be good at sports. It's both. Like, it's really, you're an elite athlete and you have a following. That's the ones that are getting the biggest deals.
On our text line, I said, as much as I hate to say it, I think Iowa will dominate Penn State in wrestling. Now, I don't know about domination. I mean, Penn State's got some really good wrestlers. I just haven't sized up the matchups to give you a breakdown of that, handicap of that. Crypto King in the chat room says Arizona State, Stanford, and Oregon State do wrestle in the Pac-12. They then pull in Cal Poly, Bakersfield, and Little Rock to kind of put together a weird, strange conference standing there. So there you go, folks. Hey, buckle up, put the phone down. That's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. What an interesting hour. I enjoyed this hour. It was fun. We touched on a lot of things in that hour. We'll talk some Husker baseball and wrestling coming up in the next hour. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The thoughtfully redesigned 2023 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. The 2023 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of June 2022. Duteau Subaru in Lincoln and DuteauSubaru.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Lead Center for Performing Arts is celebrating 33 years of bringing the world's top artists to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln campus. Upcoming shows include Hamilton, Yo-Yo Ma, American Ballet Theater, and Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. Get tickets at leadcenter.org.
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. It's our Sports Ticker, brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Both the Husker men and women traveled today. The women will be over in Iowa City tomorrow for a noon tip against nationally ranked Iowa. Our network coverage begins at 11:45. The men are in Maryland, getting ready to play the Hot Terps. 3:30 tip, 2:30 pregame coverage. Husker baseball squad held their first practice for the 2023 season today out at Dean Hartog Field. The Big Red took advantage of sunny skies and a 40-degree temperature to gear up for the season. D1 baseball was out earlier in the day with their conference preview. The Huskers are picked for 5th in the conference. We're going to chat with Garrett Anglim here in a few minutes. Husker swimming is engaged with a duel with Rutgers, and after day one, the Scarlet Knights lead the team total 101-66. The Big Red did win 3 events today. Shannon Stott with the 50 free, Berkeley Livingston captured the 200 IM, and Maya Halley was victorious in the 200 breaststroke. All action will continue tomorrow in Piscataway. The 1890 Initiative helping Husker student athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 2, Sports Highlight, coming up next.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Meyer, another 3. This one's not good. The rebound and a great block out by Griesel. Vanderbilt's got the ball. 4-0 run to start the second half. Wilcher drives the basketball, splits a double. Oh! What a play! Wilcher, what a fantabulous play! There's our play of the game.
Wow, what a finish by C.J. Wilcher. And the first time tonight, the crowd is on their feet. A little 6-0 run to start the second half. Kaiser, left low block, guarded by Stewart. Knock away to steal for Kimball Moriarty. Here come the Huskers with 1:06 to go in the second quarter.
There it is.
Trailing by 11. 3 ball, Lonnie Stewart all alone. You betcha! Off the steal and assist from Kimball Moriarty. Timeout, Kim Barnes, here we go.
And here come the Husker crowd.
To Jazz Shelley.
Throw it back.
Jazz has a double team. Throws it deep left side. Callan Hake for 3. You betcha!
Griesel bring it across the timeline. How about a couple of quick baskets here? Down 10, deep left corner, Jamarcus Lawrence 3. Got it! Nothing but net. Swishel, a CBA 3 for Jamarcus Lawrence.
Hot top, Hybe has it. Huskers looking for a road win over a top 5 team. Hybe driving and scoring down the left lane line. That was classic Sam Hybe.
Yeah, good pace by Sammy. Nebraska answers.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back for our final hour of the night, final hour of the week of Sports Sunday. So glad you're with us here on a Friday night. If you want to be a part of the program, our phone lines, text lines, always open and available for you. 402-413-2400, the number for you to fire off a text or dial up a phone call. We're going to hear from Garrett Anglim here in just a couple minutes. Huskers' first baseball practice today. Took advantage of those sunny skies. Went out to Dean Hartog Field, which is an LPS run facility, has field turf. They were able to practice outside today. And we'll hear from Brock Hardy, the 141 wrestler for the Big Red, who was undefeated until last week, lost in that duel with the Hawkeyes, but having a great season and a fun story to hear. We'll talk to Brock coming up in this hour as well. Lots of things happening tonight. We talked about Husker swimming playing in Piscataway, basketball tomorrow, NFL playoffs, the conference championship games on Sunday. I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun to do that.
Yes, lots of good sporting events, and none that we have to be at physically so we can watch on TV.
All right, baseball practice today. Garrett Anglim last year, it was a disappointing season for the Huskers a year ago, a 23-30 record coming off of the regional final appearance the year before. But one bright spot was Garrett Anglim, who kind of was a redshirt freshman, grabbed the right field starting spot, had one of the better years of any Husker in the lineup offensively, and I had a chance to catch up with him before practice began today. January, 40-degree day. Let's play ball, right?
That's right. Sun's out. Time to play some baseball.
How you feeling going into this thing?
Oh, I'm feeling awesome, man. It's good to be out here. And we get stuck in that Gordon, but it's always good when we get the opportunity to go outside.
You really had a breakout year last year. There were a couple positive things. I know overall the team was disappointed, but you did. You broke out. Mm-hmm. Where is your confidence level as a player right now?
It's feeling good. I'm excited for this new year with the new team. But yeah, it was good to get on the field and just be able to play baseball. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I feel like after that season, I can just lay back, trust my swing this year.
You were around the team that made that run in the regional. Last year wasn't close to that at all. How motivating was the disappointment of last year for this group going through fall and winter and now getting ready for the season?
You know, everyone on this team wants it really bad, and we've worked our butts off to get to where we are right now, and I think we're in a very good spot.
What was summer like? You went to Alaska, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. You know, at first I was a little worried about how it was going to be, but once I got up there, I mean, it was 70 degrees every day, sunny. The hikes were beautiful. We went salmon fishing all the time. I mean, it was a great time.
What were you wanting to accomplish with your game up there, and did you have a good summer with that?
Yeah, just continuing gaining my confidence, and facing different pitchers and see different stuff up there. You know, just gain more confidence, keep playing baseball, trusting the stuff I do.
Garrett, the fans are going to need a program. There's a lot of new guys on this team. How has the team bonding aspect of trying to become a group gone?
You know, in the 3 years I've been here, I can't say I've been a part of a closer team, honestly. We've worked really hard in that aspect of the team chemistry, and I think, like I said, we're in a great spot with that. Whenever I'm free, you know, I call one of these guys to hang out or whatever the case, and I think that's awesome. So,
Coach has been hard on this group?
I mean, yeah, of course, they're coaches, but, you know, some things changed, and they've been really supportive too, though. So they're going to be our friend at the end of the day, but they're our coaches, and that's their job. So,
have you set any personal goals for yourself for the upcoming year?
You know, just go out and have fun for my personal goal. You know, I just want to win games, so I'm going to do what it takes to do that.
Okay. How about, give me a name or two that's going to jump out at Husker fans when they watch this team play in the next 3 months.
You know, freshman name's Dylan Carey. He's going to come out, and he's going to do some fun things. And another guy, new guy is Charlie Fisher, first baseman from Southern Miss. He's got some pop, and he's going to make the fans go crazy.
Should we pencil you in for right field, or will you play wherever the coaches want you to play?
You know, right now I think it's wherever they want me to play, but I practice over summer I was in center. Most of the fall I've been left, and I played in right all last year, so wherever they want me, I'll be ready.
What kind of arms are you seeing as you go through some of these workouts?
Just from our team?
Yep.
You know, Jason and Emmett are our two top guys right now, but, I mean, they're touching upper nines. We have Will Rizzo up there, too, and Caleb Clark, freshman pitcher. He's doing awesome, but I mean, a lot of the guys. We have so many new guys on our team, and so many people coming back, gaining pitches, and all sorts of stuff. So I'm really excited for both sides.
We'll get it fine-tuned. Looking forward to this thing going in 3 weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
3 weeks from tonight, Huskers will open at San Diego for a 4-game series. Then they go to Mobile, Alabama for a series with South Alabama, and then up to Minneapolis to play in the Dome up there. A Big Ten SEC challenge where they're going to face Vanderbilt and Ole Miss. And also Hawaii. Somebody backed out. I think it was Missouri backed out, so they had to pick up Hawaii to round out the field. But pretty competitive first few weeks of schedule.
So does softball.
Softball's going to that tournament week 2 to Florida. They're going to play the best of the best down there.
Yes, I mean, but again, with baseball and softball, you have to do that. Like, you have to challenge yourself in the non-conference. And then also, you know, when you're dealing with weather around here, it's tough going in the Big Ten sometimes for some of these diamond sports. But you know, that's what you have to do to be able to get your whatever. It's RPI, yeah.
It is RPI.
Like all the different ranking systems, RPI high enough to be able to get yourself into the postseason.
And the Big Ten is not as good a league in either sport as the Big 12 was when Nebraska was in there. So you can't back off early and then have your league pull you up. You got to start high and then hope your league doesn't drag you down, that you missed the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember now the Big 12 softball's not very good, and so they've gotten better. But that's one thing that Coach Patty Gasso at Oklahoma would always be frustrated about, that they have to go, and nobody would go to Oklahoma because they don't want to go lose, right? But they would basically have to be on the road every single weekend of the non-conference. They could barely get any conference games at home because it would hurt their RPI. And you're talking about, that's a team that wants to be able to host throughout regionals and super regionals. And if you are not in that top 8, you don't get to do that.
Yeah. So it's almost here. Softball in 2 weeks, baseball in 3 weeks, and we'll have a lot of coverage for you here on the Huskers Radio Network. All right, 402-413-2400. Hey, come support the women's basketball team as they pack PBA on February 18th against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Join the Omaha World Herald, Lincoln Journal-Star, Husker Extra, and Beck's Hybrids in helping the Nebraska women's basketball team pack PBA. Coach Williams and the Huskers want you there to give them a home court advantage against the Hawkeyes again on February the 18th. Go purchase your tickets now at Huskers.com. The Huskers and Hawkeyes play tomorrow at noon and then have the rematch in a couple of weeks. I do not like that. So they're going to play tomorrow. I guess that would be 3 weeks spread between games. But sometimes you seem like you flip and you play somebody in like every other week, or you play them back-to-back times. I don't like that at all. This is better. I think 3 weeks a little bit better. But.
Yeah, and one thing that's not being said enough, I don't think, about this game against Iowa here at home, because there are, 1 or 2 games in between, home games in between that. But, the reason why that's such a big push is, in the conversations of Title IX, it actually came about last summer when Amy Williams was right here in the studio and talking about how to continue to grow women's sports. This team, their goal was they wanted to be able to sell out PBA. I mean, they love the support that they get inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. It's why they were able to protect the home court so well. And it's better that, Allison Weiner told me a couple weeks ago that how many opposing team players say how great it is to come play inside Pinnacle Bank Arena, because not a lot of women's teams get that kind of support. But one thing that has not happened inside Pinnacle Bank Arena for a women's game is a sellout. And so that's what they're trying to do is sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time in history for a women's basketball game. So that's why the push for that game, which of course come in supporting those other home games, because this team needs those wins.
Yeah,
we're talking about, this game in particular, but you're talking about for a team that wants to go to the postseason, they got to protect home court before that. But the monumental, the big kind of push for that sellout game on the 18th is that it's never been done. And so let's do something that's never been done here in Lincoln and support this women's team in a massive game against Iowa.
Sure will be. Next home game, to kind of follow up on you, is Michigan State next Thursday night. That's next time the women are back in PBA next Thursday. 7:30, a rare 7:30 tip. Television dictates that, obviously, because there's a doubleheader that night, a 5:30, 7:30 game. So that's Sparty will be here next Thursday night. 402-413-2400. When we come back and talk a little Husker wrestling, they've got a really good 141-pounder in Brock Hardy, who's got a fascinating story. This is not your typical freshman, right?
No, it's not. It is not. We've been talking about it. Andrew could not believe it because he helped me record the interview. He could not believe it.
Did he take selfies with Brock?
He didn't. Thankfully, he didn't. But Brock would have been nice enough to do it. But yeah, no, this is a fascinating story, one that you have not heard before, that I have not done since I've been here. So it's going to be fun.
Good tease. We're back with Brock Hardy coming up next.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson, but when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too, making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With the simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics that take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.
Have you come to a decision yet, sir?
Well, I like the sports car.
It is fun.
I also love the truck.
Yes, sir.
And the SUV is beautiful.
Definitely.
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
Well, I think we'll take it.
Which one, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean the dealership.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Lane line goes up against Terry. Terry blocks the shot, but Markowski rips it out of the air and scores. Nebraska has the lead. Markowski's all over the floor.
Hey, Husker fans, join us tomorrow for a Nebraska basketball doubleheader. The women's team takes on the Hawkeyes with coverage beginning at 11:45 a.m., while the men's team matches up with the Terrapins, coverage beginning at 2:30 p.m. on the HRN. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now kids can eat free.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card. Free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The thoughtfully redesigned 2023 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. The 2023 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of June 2022. Duteau Subaru in Lincoln and DuteauSubaru.com.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal, because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider for you. Getting healthier starts by getting personal at CHI Health Clinic.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. I'm Jessica Coody, and boy, do we have a treat for you in the guest now. Brock Hardy, the Huskers 141-pounder, ranked 6th in the nation, has taken the college wrestling world by storm this season. What a great story, too. We're going to dive into all of his backstory. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
What a great season so far. How's it felt for you up until this point?
It's felt really good. You know, I feel like I had high hopes for myself, and I feel like I'm living up to them, and I feel like I can do more.
Well, you know, again, mentioned you have quite a journey that got you here out of high school. I know you were highly recruited and decided to go on a mission. Tell us about that and that decision and why you wanted to do that.
Yeah, so, you know, all my life I've, you know, learned from my parents, from my family, to put my faith first. And so when the time came, you know, in my recruiting decision, you know, that was part of the reason why I wanted to come to Nebraska, is that my coaches were really understanding of that, and they wanted me to put my faith first. And so I chose to go on a mission, you know, put 2 years that I did not touch a wrestling mat, and yeah, it was an experience.
I was going to ask you about the recruiting process. There had to be some colleges that weren't as understanding, but Nebraska was?
Yeah, Nebraska was. There was some colleges that they would hear that I was going on a mission, and it was like, oh, we'll call you back, and then never got anything back. But the coaches here were really understanding, and really, you know, that's something I loved the most about the coaches, is how they, you know, put my faith, you know, as a priority, you know, for them.
For you and that decision, I know you said your faith is important and you knew that's what you wanted to do, but was there a doubt ever that once you did that you could get back to college wrestling?
No, that was a doubt that lingered in my mind while I was on my mission, and when I got back, you know, and was first getting back into wrestling, you know, it was something that was on my mind for sure. And, you know, I remember when making the decision, the thought was, you know, I love wrestling, but at the same time, like, I felt like this is something I needed to do, and if, you know, if I sacrificed this opportunity to be in college, like, it would suck, but at the same time, I felt like I would have made the right choice.
Right. So you go to Rio de Janeiro, and you said you didn't train at all. Like, you didn't have any opportunity to get on a mat. You just did your own thing when you could?
Yeah, so I mean, I only did push-ups and pull-ups and stuff like that for 2 years, and couldn't get into, like, wrestle anywhere. There isn't really any wrestling in Brazil. All they really have is jiu-jitsu. Did that one time, and they said, you know, I had like my leader in that area said you can't do it anymore in the case that I'd get hurt.
Wow. Visiting with Brock Hardy of Husker Wrestling. So what did you learn? What did you take away? I mean, I've talked to a few people that have gone on missions, and it's life-changing. What did you take away from that experience?
I mean, there's a lot of maturity things. There's so many different things that I learned. Obviously, you know, I learned a lot about the people of Brazil. I learned a lot about, you know, speaking in different languages and stuff like that. But I learned a lot more about, like, myself in terms of, you know, what I wanted in my own life, and, you know, how I wanted to help others, and kind of also, you know, open my mind to understanding other people and stuff like that. You know, understanding people that are very different from me and live very different lives.
So when you get back to the mat, what's that like the first time?
It was rough. You know, body doesn't move the same. I don't have the same muscle memory. But, you know, it still felt like it was there. You know, I started getting back to wrestling. I'm like, I still kind of got it, you know. And then I came to the college room, because when I first got home, I was just training at home. Then I get to Nebraska and get in the college room, and I was like, maybe I don't got it anymore, because I got my butt whooped. But, you know, it came back little by little, and so, yeah.
So when did you think, okay, I can be good at this level, and I can make an impact for Nebraska wrestling?
It was probably like 3 months in, or like 6 months in, around there. So, like, it was kind of weird because it was the COVID year, so the timing was a little off. But it was like December of 2020. Yeah, December of 2020. I remember I was like kind of competing with the guys, competing with Chad Red, with Ridge Lovett, and I was losing, but I felt like I was close enough that I was like, you know, I could get there.
Yeah, it's a couple All-Americans right there.
Yeah.
And behind CJ Red at that, which you and I were talking before we started recording, you know, that's a guy that was a huge impact on this program. Was it hard to be patient at that point, too? Because here you go on a mission, then you get back, and then you're behind a guy who has, you know, been an All-American, competed at the national championship. Was that hard at times to battle that patience, too?
No, yeah, it was. And luckily, I think that the mission helped in that sense. There was times on my mission where I had to learn a lot of patience and, like, a lot of humility, in the sense of, like, you know, this isn't my time. This is my time to, like, learn and follow and learn from the people, you know, that are better than me. And so when it came to that time, you know, when I was behind CJ, you know, it was frustrating, because, you know, I want to compete, but at the same time, I was able to, like, be like, you know, this is a time to learn from CJ, see everything he does good, see some of the stuff that, you know, maybe I could, you know, do in this situation a little bit different, and, you know, not just behind him, but behind Ridge as well, you know, and as a red shirt in general, just looking at every guy on the team and being like, this isn't a year to take off, this is a year to learn from everything that these guys are going through.
Oh, that's awesome. So I think you're considered a sophomore, right?
I'm considered a sophomore, but I have, like, the COVID year thingy, so technically this is my freshman year-ish.
Right, okay, so first year wrestling, and for a lot of guys that's inexperienced at this, but do you feel like, you know, the experiences that you've been through and having to battle it out, wait your time is, and the mentality part of it, the maturity as far as the mental aspect goes, is what's kind of played into you being able to come out and make the impact that you've been able to make?
No, for sure. I think that how I kind of, you know, my age and my, you know, maturity level because of the mission, and then as well as, you know, that redshirt year, focusing in, and, you know, how I carried myself during that redshirt year has prepared me mentally for, you know, this year, in the sense of, like, you know, I've thought about, you know, I've seen people in the situations I'm in this year, and I'm going, okay, if I'm in that situation, this is what I'm going to do, you know, and this is how I'm going to focus my mind and really compete.
How much do you, perspective and just an appreciation for being able to do the sport after all of that, do you have?
A ton. You know, that's, my sister always makes fun of me, because in every post I make on Instagram, I just say, like, grateful for this, grateful for that, and so, you know, just constant gratitude. You know, even going through the mission, just in the fact of wrestling at a D1 level, or wrestling in a Big Ten college, you know, I have immense gratitude, because I know that this is an opportunity that many don't get.
At one point, you had won 18 in a row going into last week at Iowa, which I know you put up a battle there on the road. What's gone into that? How do you approach each match and being ready to come in and win and knock off top-ranked opponents and dominate at that point and at certain times? What goes into that in your preparation?
The biggest thing that I've had to focus on this year is focusing on one match at a time. Let's say, for example, when we were wrestling Minnesota, there was a match that I had to wrestle 2 days later. There was another really tough guy. Preparing for that Minnesota match, I was
Welcome to the Big Ten, right?
Yeah, welcome to the Big Ten. Yeah, literally, welcome to the Big Ten. So I was like, I can't think about the Northwestern guy. I got to wrestle the Minnesota guy first. That's all I can think about. I have 7 minutes on the mat with him, and I got to focus on those 7 minutes. And then, on top of him being a highly ranked guy, the thought was, go out and score points, have fun, don't worry about what he's going to do. Go out and, do your thing. It's just kind of like really focusing my mind to give all 7 minutes.
From the start of the season, before anybody had wrestled any match and you had any kind of experience, I guess, for this season, Mark Manning came into the studio and was really bragging on you, and he felt like this could be a big season for you. What has he meant to you, and how has he helped you in your journey?
Coach Manning is, like I said earlier, he was the one that took a gamble on me, as being a guy that was going to go off for 2 years, the guy that they had recruited hard and then, was disappearing, and maybe he'll be good when he gets back, who knows. It was a long-term gamble, so, I have immense gratitude for everything that he's done for me, and I know, that's something that I carry into each match, is knowing that, these guys believe in me. This guy's believed in me since 2017 when they called me, and then I told them I was going on a mission, and they said, okay, we still believe in you. And so that's just, just strictly gratitude.
He's going for win number 300 this Sunday, so big win for him and the team as well. I also did want to ask you, too, about you're married. That's a different perspective, too. What's that like balancing? Because it's a lot being a student athlete anyways, and then being married as well.
Yeah, honestly, it's been better than being single, for sure. It's been really good because, I got my lovely wife, Courtney. She's amazing. She supports me in every which way, and then, being able to have a hard practice, go to school, and then come home and have someone who, truly cares for me, truly loves me, and, wants the best for me, and, vice versa. I want the best for her, and just, I'm just hanging out with my best friend all the time. It's amazing.
Got to make it a little, I guess, maybe alleviate some of the pressure and challenges knowing that you have somebody that you can rely on like that, right?
Of course, no, yes.
Okay, well, this weekend, Wisconsin, I know you guys had a lot of momentum going into Iowa. Iowa was one of the best teams in the country. What do you guys need to do to bounce back against Wisconsin, another top 20 matchup, and potentially giving Coach Manning his 300th win here at Nebraska?
Yeah, I think we need to focus on what we've been doing before. I think Iowa was a little detour off of what we like to do, and so that match will be the focus is, we're going to go out, we're going to score points, we're going to have fun, and we're going to... we're going to give all 7 minutes. We're going to give all the effort we can.
What's it like wrestling in front of that crowd in Vanny?
It's amazing. It's really exhilarating. Actually, first time I wrestled there this season, I lost. And honestly, it was on my bad that they were so excited, and I got really excited, and then my energy went, wah! And so it's it's truly special to have, the fans in there like that.
You said one time in an interview earlier this season, I just love wearing the N. I just love being a Husker. What is it about this place, this program, that you love it so much?
First of all, I love how they treat, every sport, is generally on a similar level of, respect. And I love how, the fans love us, and I love, like I said, this was a gamble that this university took on me. I said Coach Manning did gamble on me, but, in doing so, his assistants, everyone that's, on the coaching staff, the university as a whole has took a gamble on me. And so, they believe in me, and so I love them.
Brock Hardy, appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend. Can't wait to see you guys back inside Devaney.
I appreciate that. I'm excited.
All right, buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I'm University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Hannah Pham with Campus News. Students in Nebraska's Rake School of Computer Science and Management created software that is saving a Nebraska e-commerce company 34,000 hours of work per year. Created by a group of 5 Rake School students for their Design Studio capstone project, this software is one of 300 real-world software solutions created by Rake School students.
Woodhouse Nissan makes car buying easy, enjoyable, and stress-free. We will bring the dealership to your driveway with Nissan at Home. You can shop, drive, and buy a new or pre-owned Nissan all from the comfort of your own home. Explore every aspect of the purchasing process at your pace and convenience. Get real pricing on your vehicle of choice, review lease and financing options, and complete a credit application. Get to your next adventure faster with Woodhouse Nissan.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red. Sports Alley Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations. We're online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands, huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for at Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you Friday night, 402-413-2400. The number to dial us up with a comment or question. Wow, what a fascinating chat. What a fascinating young man. And he is a man, 23-year-old.
And married.
And married.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many elements and layers to that story. And, you know, the fact that Coach Manning and company were, hey, you do what you got to do. We're going to stick by you. And because a lot of programs didn't, and he didn't wrestle for I don't know if people understand how hard that is for him to have to go 2 years where he didn't touch a mat and then getting back to it. And then, but you know, he was always, I think, was highly recruited and had the potential. And Mark Mannyboy, when he came in here and talked to you, he was really high on him. I also thought it was fascinating too, where he talked about, you know, this is a kid he's a man that is, a lot of times when it's your first year at this, a lot of times it's the mental part that it takes wrestlers a while to get going at. But he's older and experienced where he's got the mental part down, except for the first duel here in Devaney. He was so emotional and got too high and too amped and had too much energy that he exuded all of it because the crowd was so awesome. And so he had to learn how to manage that from here on out. But boy, and he's just a quote unquote freshman. And so he's got some big things ahead, I think.
Should be an All-American. You got to be in the top 8 at the NCAA. Should make that. You've seen some sites that feel like he's a guy that could win it all.
Yeah, and again, I'm not a wrestling expert by any means, but I was doing a little research before I did that interview, and there are a lot of weight classes that there are guys that have come back that have won national titles. It's pretty much a clear-cut favorite, like 149, Yanni at 149, which is why we're seeing Ridge Love at redshirt this year. But so there are some weight classes that it's like, okay, this is a clear favorite. This guy is absolutely hands down going to win it. But 141 is pretty wide open, and that's where Brock wrestles. And so they had broken down the top 5 potentials that could go win a national title. And Brock Hardy was one of the guys that they talked about being a guy that to watch out for, because he could absolutely be someone that could make a deep run in the postseason.
You mentioned that he's married. Mark Manning was in a couple weeks ago, and he said he has 4 wrestlers that are married. He goes, never had that situation.
Well, it's also, too, we were talking during the commercial break a little bit with COVID. You got some older guys. Sure. I mean, this Spencer Lee guy from Iowa, I feel like he's been around since the quarterback from Minnesota. I feel like who had a longer career, Spencer Lee or who was the quarterback's name?
In Iowa?
Minnesota.
Tracy Morgan.
Yes.
Not Tracy Morgan. That's the actor.
That's the singer.
Yeah, Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
Yeah. Tanner Morgan. Had Tracy.
Because y'all were joking that he's been here forever.
He has.
That's what I'm like. Who's been here longer, Spencer Lee or Tanner Morgan?
Who do you think is the oldest current Husker athlete?
Oh man.
Is it Derek Walker?
It very well could be.
He's 25. That might be him.
It very well could be.
I can't think of anybody else.
I don't know.
Had Kayla Caffey come back here, she would be in that.
It would have to be one of those athletes that redshirt.
Yeah.
And then also used a medical redshirt and a COVID year. So you're talking about 4 seasons of playing plus, 5 seasons of playing, plus the redshirt, plus the medical.
Right.
So, yeah. That's a long time to be in college.
I was ready to get out when I was 22.
I was ready to get out after my first year.
Cole just got out. Cole, are you 22? 23. See, Cole's an old guy getting out of college.
Yeah.
Old man over there. All that stuff. So I'm gonna ask around. I'm gonna ask some people sports information.
We should try to come up with a list of who we think.
Who it is and have them dig out birthdays for us and find out who it is. There might be somebody in track and field because there's so many of those athletes that we can't think of.
I mean, I go back to even, I know people were upset a little bit with a guy like Austin Allen, but that's a guy that's been around. He's even Garrett Nelson, he's played, he's been around, he's gone through the college thing, he's older. And would it be beneficial for him to come back? Is he going to get drafted? Who knows? Maybe not. But it's also, too, I think comes to be a point like we were just talking about. This would be normal. He normally would be done. You normally, a lot of times, it would have had exhausted all of your time that you could have in college. And you get to a point where it's like you're a lot older than a lot of the guys in the locker room, and you're just ready to move on to that next chapter. I don't fault guys or girls for not wanting to, it's the volleyball players that didn't utilize the COVID year. I think probably sometimes your body gets done and you're just ready to be, you want to go to the professional realm, you want to start your career, whatever it might be. I don't fault people for not wanting to exhaust that last year of eligibility.
You mentioned Garrett Nelson. I saw it earlier today, and I'm trying to find this, that he is at an NFLPA All-Star game, and they've practiced all week long, and one of the scouts there named 3 players that stood out during the week, and he was one of them.
Here's the thing. I think Garrett he is going to stand out in these games because he's a gamer and he works so hard. I think he's going to interview well. I think people are going to like his personality, but I think he's a guy that might not test well.
May not quite the stopwatch.
Whatever, because there are guys like a Trey Palmer that we're talking about are going to blow people away. And it could go either way. I think there are a lot of players sometimes, like a guy on your Chiefs, Orlando Brown. I remember his pro day. He was a guy that was expected to go in the first round, but he didn't bench enough.
Right.
So he falls to the second round. So there are some times that scouts and teams get hung up on some of those testing measurables, and there are sometimes that they overlook that, but I think, and there are sometimes that you vault way higher because of it, and I think Trey Palmer could be a guy that probably catches a lot of attention with how he tests, but I worry Garrett might not run very fast. I don't know.
Might not. O'Shawn will test great, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be fascinating to follow. And Paige Diamakos, who's a Nebraska grad, she runs the NFL draft site, and she wants to come on and do a hit with us. We need to get that lined up because she's at the Senior Bowl practices and all these things, and so we'll wait another week or so and get her evaluation on what she's hearing on Garrett, Trey, some of those other guys. So, all right, 402-413-2400, the number if you want to dial us up with a calendar question. We're enjoying watching some Penn State, Iowa wrestling.
Boy, that place is popping.
On fire.
Yeah.
And I was impressed with just kind of the production of it, the lights going out and spotlights and roving cameras, and it was almost like a big boxing match.
We were talking about that when we were watching. They brought out all the bells and whistles of the Big Ten Network. But that's again going back to the conversation we were having earlier on in the first hour about how the emphasis that they put on these sports, and it pays off because their ratings are pretty good, and they get good, which means they can get good money out of it, and so from their advertising. So they invest in those kinds of sports, and it pays off for them and the people that tune in. We're invested in it, and that's Penn State and Iowa.
Right.
Two
teams I don't like.
They know that is something that they can capitalize on, and it's might be what you call a quote-unquote niche in the Big Ten, but hey, it's worked well for the Big Ten Network.
Buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Basketball tomorrow, doubleheader. Husker women play at noon. The men play at 3:30, both on the road. That kind of stinks. You got a Saturday, January, neither team here. That's kind of
I wish that the Big Ten would do that. I wish they would look more into having which I know there's a lot of teams and a lot of moving elements, but I wish, like, if your women's team was home, your men's team's on the road, and vice versa. If your women's team's home, then if your men's team's home, your women can be on the road. That way you get people that have the opportunity to come support, and a lot of times if it conflicts, then, but oh well, what do I know? I wish they would do that, though. I wish that if you're home and away, and the timing of it, where we were talking about that the other night, I wish they wouldn't play at the same time, because then you're pulling eyeballs away from one team unless you got the capability of having 2 big screens on in your living room. I was watching off of a laptop with the women and on TV with the men, so
a lot of people did that.
Yeah, but it's like, it'd be nice if I could just watch on TV one, and then when that one ended, I could turn right in and watch the other one.
Next Saturday, neither one of them play. Next Sunday, the men are at home. So the men have a Sunday game next week at home. The women, again, as I mentioned last segment, they'll have the Thursday night home game with Michigan State. And so at least you have the men home next weekend on a Sunday. I'd rather have it on a Saturday. Big Ten's big about that. They put a lot of their basketball on Sundays. And I don't know whether that's just their TV partners are wanting that, but it just seems like they avoid a lot of Saturday basketball games. I know they're both going tomorrow, but
I think because a lot of conferences play on Saturday, like the Big 12 plays.
Always plays.
And there's not a lot. There's a market there, I think, on Sunday to capitalize on some basketball games.
I think the Big Ten works a lot of gymnastics meets into Saturday programming
Yeah.
so that they get that on. Friday night's kind of reserved for wrestling. That's a good spot for it to
And
go.
volleyball. And
Volleyball
yeah.
gets a lot of Friday shows, which is perfect. It's a great time to be putting that on. By the way, we have a John Cook sighting this week.
We did. Cooking Back with the Cooks has been recorded.
I think we're going to play a snippet of it for you Monday night on the program. He kind of goes into hibernation when the season ends. He kind of disappears.
Wait till you hear. So they go into this spiel about.
Those
They've
two
started
do?
taking.
I don't
I know,
believe
right?
that. I don't believe that.
Shocking, right? They've started taking freezing cold showers in the morning.
Both of them?
Like
John and Lauren do?
Lauren started it, and they said it's life-changing. So, like, when you wake up, the first thing you do, you go get in a freezing cold shower, like getting into a hot tub or a cold tub. And it like wakes you up. It's energizing. It's like there's so many, all these health benefits, of course. So he said he's gotten up to like a minute and a half or something, and Lauren is all in on it too. But they go into the benefits of why it's been good for them. I was like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm kind of a weenie, and so like.
Particularly when it's 10 outside.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Just walk out your door if you want to get your blood pumping.
Go lay in the snow.
Yeah, go make a snow angel.
But I mean, so yeah, then they talk about the decision with the changing of the roster and losing Whitney Lonstein and that decision. And yeah, literally every topic you could imagine was covered. And so hopefully that'll be coming out soon, and we'll have a portion of it for you here.
Yep.
He even told a really cool NIL story, which, it's part of it, right? And Nebraska volleyball, they're one of the programs that are, in the Final Four last year, they had eight of the top 15 or something like that, or 6 of the top 10. So it's a tool, it's a beneficial recruiting tool for Nebraska volleyball. So yeah, there's a lot covered in that. But he's here. He was in Lincoln.
Back in town, beach season starts soon.
Yes.
For that team.
Well, they were already practicing. Yeah, he said Nicklin Ames is having to serve balls, and she had to go ice her arm down.
Nicklin is done playing,
yes,
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's coaching now. She's helping coach.
Very good. We need to take a break because I need to save time for winners and losers of the week. We're back to do that coming up next.
Nebraska women's basketball offers one of the best values in all of Husker sports with single-game reserve tickets at Pinnacle Bank Arena for just $15. Adult general admission seating is just $10, while youth and senior general admission tickets are $5. Children 6 and under are just $1. Plans now to bring your whole family to Husker women's basketball for Big Ten home games in January and February. Get your tickets and the full schedule at Huskers.com.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
I'm University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Hannah Pham with Campus News. Nebraska has taken over leadership from Princeton University in coordinating the U.S. physics community at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. For its role, Nebraska has been awarded over $50 million in National Science Foundation grants. This cutting-edge work at the world's largest particle accelerator helps physicists uncover the origins and makeup of the universe.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. I'm still uncomfortable thinking about a cold shower. It just makes me really uncomfortable.
You'll have to make sure and play that portion when we bring it on Sports Nightly for the people that don't always listen to the podcast.
And then you sat down with John and did a thing, right?
Yes, talking about NAPL and comparing. They're bringing in the newcomers to go up there for the NAPL lab, and they got it to where they can compare where the swings are to Michaela Becky.
Yeah.
Which
is he over the
fascinating.
loss?
I think so.
Do you?
He's in a good mood.
Okay. Takes a while, and that's just the same thing in basketball. It's such an abrupt ending to your season. You have all this thoughts and your goals of the Final Four and the national championship, and then when it ends,
And you don't know when it's ending, unlike football.
right? Football, ball game, that's it.
Yeah.
So that's like a cold shower that it just stops. All right, winners and losers. Lead us off.
My winner is Al Hansen, who called into the show on Tuesday, right?
Yep.
For Trev Albert's show, a Vietnam veteran. Boy, he talked about how much he enjoyed his experience here, and he understands why they're sellouts and how great the fans were to him. And then turns around, he goes, we put the clip on social media of his call-in, and he goes viral. A bunch of people tweeted about it. We're really appreciative of hearing his story. And then they find a way to get in contact with him, and he comes into the stadium. I think it was, a couple days ago? Yesterday.
Yeah.
He comes in, and he meets Trev Alberts, and so just a neat story, that heartwarming fan story that was really special to hear, and I got to hear it live, and it was just awesome to see all that unfold. My loser is the Philadelphia police, because they are greasing the poles. They're greasing poles in Philly streets in an effort to deter crazy post-game celebrations.
After they win Sunday.
Boo! Let the people celebrate. Come on.
Let them yanking power poles down and
Come
stuff.
on.
though.
Let them celebrate.
All right, Cole, jump in here.
Yep. For my winner, I'm going to go to the NBA on Wednesday night. Mr. Damian Lillard had 60 points.
Ooh, yeah, he was on fire.
21 for 29 from the field, 9 for 15 from three.
That's not bad.
That's a night.
Pretty crazy.
Now, Andrew didn't help you with this winner, did you? Because this was like, the first thing I thought was Andrew gave him this.
I've been a fan of the Trailblazers for some time.
So, Dame, you're a fan. Yeah.
I am too. I like
You
him.
refused to pick a loser because you said that's just not in your DNA to find something negative.
Come on, you can do something like I did, Cole.
I could, but I'll take the moral high ground, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to start with my loser because it was going to be my winner. And then when the story unfolded more, it became my loser. And that was at a basketball game the other night between Duquesne and Loyola Chicago. The game got stopped because this Uber Eats guy walked out on the court with a bag for somebody that had ordered food to deliver it. So they had to stop the game. This guy is just wandering on the court. It later turned out that this was a setup. Somebody planned this. This was a prank. So that becomes my loser of the week. Have you seen the video of it? I sent you and Andrew.
Well, I saw. Oh, okay, that's where I was like. I feel like I've seen it.
I sent you and Andrew the video.
The ref stopped it, right?
Because this guy's on the court with his Uber bag. He's got his Uber bag to deliver food to somebody.
Oh.
And the announcers are like, I think it's an Uber Eats. Yeah, he's got an Uber Eats logo on his bag. That's what
Well, if you don't like the concession stand food, come on.
But it was a prank. Somebody inside job thought they would be cute and funny, so that turns into my loser of the week. My winner of the week, Nate Fisher, the former Husker pitcher. Remember last summer, folks, when he got that one-day call-up for the Mets? He threw 3 shutout innings for the Mets. He'd been pitching in AAA. He got an invite this week to the White Sox Major League Camp, which starts in a couple of weeks. So congrats, Nate Fisher. The dream is still alive for him to be a full-time pitcher in the Major Leagues after throwing 3 shutout innings last year for the Mets. So congrats to Nate Fisher.
Who you got? I got Bengals and Eagles.
I flipped Chiefs and Eagles.
All right. Cole, who you got? Let's go.
Wow, you two against me. They have poked the bear with the Chiefs with some of this rhetoric coming out of Cincinnati
Go
this week.
Bengals. Hey, yes, come on, come back. Yes, Bengals.
All right.
Let's go. Hooday.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. With 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned, you could always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. Enjoy the weekend. We're back with you on Monday. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Cornerstone Bank proudly serves Nebraska with a full line of loan and deposit products. Cornerstone is large enough to handle all of your financial needs while offering the personal service you deserve and the local decision-making you expect from a family-owned community bank. Stop in or call one of the Cornerstone Bank locations near you to discover the Cornerstone difference. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval.
Hey, honey.
Hey, Mom. How did Jordan's interview go?
I'm not sure. Your brother isn't home yet. Oh, one sec. Someone's at the door.
Are you Mrs. Lewis?
Yes?
Mrs. Lewis, I'm Officer Taylor. Your son was in a crash and has died.
What?
He wasn't wearing his seatbelt and was ejected from the vehicle.
No. No.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Kick off the new year in a new Jeep SUV or Ram truck from Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Blair during the Start Something New sales event. Woodhouse is your trusted Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer for over 30 years with an extensive inventory and sales experts who will guide you to the vehicle fit for your lifestyle. Find your next vehicle online at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com.
Lane line goes up against Terry. Terry walks the shot, but Markowski rips it out of the air and scores. Nebraska has the lead. Markowski's all over the floor.
Hey, Husker fans, join us tomorrow for a Nebraska basketball doubleheader. The women's team takes on the Hawkeyes with coverage beginning at 11:45 a.m., while the men's team matches up with the Terrapins, coverage beginning at 2:30 p.m. on the HRN. Tune in to